Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and I am so excited to be celebrating 10 years of meaningful conversations with you. As we step into our new primetime hour, it's such an honor to share this exciting new chapter with you. So whether you're starting your day out, headed to work, or listening from wherever you are, this hour is designed to bring you thoughtful dialogue, fresh insight, and inspiring stories so you can make every moment count. So thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive in. We're here today with special guest Artem Gonchakov, who's here to share with us his new book, Unrefined. Find Your Purpose. So what happens when you create a life, a really successful life, and it no longer feels meaningful? What do you do then? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. Artem Gonchakov is an entrepreneur, leader, and lifelong student of human potential. He writes about purpose, personal maturity, resilience, and the internal work required to build a meaningful life. Best known for his leadership in technology and AI, Artem has spent years building companies, navigating uncertainty, and making high-stakes decisions. But Unrefined was born from something very personal, a deep search for clarity, identity, and direction beyond external success. So welcome to the show, Artem Gonchakov.
Thanks, Marianne. Very much excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, what a great honor it is to have you here and to talk about your book. What even inspired you to write this?
Well, it's pretty much the very, very long story, at least for me, long story. I used to collect a lot of personal notes randomly, absolutely for no reason, from different parts of my life. And at some point, it accumulated to the pile of notes, interesting stories, observations that I started to look a little bit closer. And after probably 2020, when I got the last moments through my career, when I got that next big promotion that I was working for over 10 years, I realized that I haven't felt nothing really. After that promotion, I felt that something's going on in my life, something's wrong. So I started looking closer to those notes and observation. I started, thinking about maybe I should do something about my life. And as I've been going through the journey of the transformation of my personal life, that pretty much resulted in the sequence of articles that I wrote and published. And then those articles essentially converted to the final product of the book that I released this year.
Well, how exciting is that? Sounds like it's been such a journey, which most people go through. His books are a journey. In your book, you talk about how it really feels to be, quote, like lost in life. Can you share with us how someone could recognize that within themselves?
It's going to be probably very personal. For me, it was a feeling of nothing because I was going through the I call it regular life experience where I was doing everything right according to the book, according to the society, and people telling me what to do and what I should be doing right in my life. And every checkbox, next promotion, buying a house, buying a car, supposed to bring some feelings, and it brought nothing for me. So it was very, very personal experience, and as I recognize and I shared my book and stories with other people, they actually started to tell me the same thing, that they've been going through the motion, and I probably will be very, very personal in that experience. That you probably will feel very different. You will probably feel uncomfortable in your life, and that was that for me. And a lot of people go through that struggle of achieving something and then feeling nothing. And even more people going through the struggle of trying to achieve something and they feel that something is wrong and they can't really describe what it is. And those are the probably two strongest signals for many people to recognize. So it will be probably very subjective. There are some exercises you can do. I can talk about it later if it's interesting, but those are going to be very, very subjective feelings.
Well, in your book, I like the section where you talk about life in the nutshell. And it's so interesting because we are kind of told, okay, you work real hard, you go to school, you get
Mm-hmm.
this career, your family, you're going to feel so happy and so fulfilled is the Cliff Note version of that. And most people don't. In fact, some of the most unhappy people that I know, not all, but some, happen to be also some of the most successful.
Yeah, I would share that experience. That's pretty much was summary for me. I tick all the boxes, and as a result, kind of get no pleasant feeling of it, no happiness, nothing. And it was a trigger for me. I was like, I can't do this anymore like this. I need to go look a little bit deeper and do some hard work, which was really hard work over the last 6 years, over 6 years. That was my trigger. It's like I was living life in a nutshell and supposed to feel happy about it, but was not.
I think we both been there and got the bumper sticker for that. That's one of the reasons, there are many others, but one of the reasons that your book so spoke to me. And it also has me thinking, I mean, you talk about just early conditioning, how that shapes the way that people approach purpose and success. Can you share on that for us?
Yeah, it's mainly comes from the idea that we've been shaped from a very, very early age to follow certain ideology, to follow certain social rules, and behave in a certain way and feel in a certain way toward your own country, the religion, and behavior in the specific society or the group. And that pretty much comes from your parents. That's the first education that you receive, and then from parents, your school take over, your teachers, and then your university professors take over. Then at the job, your boss take over to educate you and tell you what to do. So you're pretty much being, I don't want to say groomed, it's a bit too strong word for it, but your mindset being shaped by a lot of people, and your parents is the first educators and have the perfect opportunity to shape it in the right way. And of course, our parents get their own, go through the same cycle as we are. So someone has to break that cycle. And for many people, and for me in particular, was I had to break it myself. And I always felt that I'm behind on many things socially, and I was always behind on my social understanding of core principles of how to behave correctly. So I misbehaved a lot of the time in my life, and that caused a lot of trouble. But I was very observant of what's happening when you misbehave. And that's not the encouragement, of course, but the idea is that there's someone has to break the cycle for you. And that I don't mean it in a radical way, of course, but I mean it in the way that if you really want to achieve something meaningful in your life, that cycle you have to look very carefully. Is this really what you want to do, and that you believe for yourself, or you maybe someone really forced you, and you've been indoctrinated in believing certain things, and you maybe have to look at it a little bit more and longer. And that's what I did. Can you tell you a few stories about that too, if you want?
Yes, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. So one example of that, and it's very very telling example, is I started, and this exercise is also in the book, as I started to list all the things that I thought I want. And I spent probably 2 months documenting all the things. Every day I would write 10 more things I wanted. And at the end, I end up with 1.5 thousand things that I thought I want. And then I started to filter through that list and look at that from different angles, from different perspective, priorities, uh, applying a little bit of my professional experience there. So I tried to filter out the list, and I end up with 100, maybe less than 100 things that I actually wanted to do. And the rest of those things was either forced by someone else or was needed because someone said it. And it was very, very interesting experience. The moment I filtered it out and started focusing on those less than 100 things that I actually wanted to do, uh, the life started to feel a little bit different. And I not necessarily ignored the rest, but I figured out how to not to do those things without causing any trouble. And that was a life-changing experience for me. And a lot of people, when I tried to mentor a few guys about it, They had to do this exercise with me, and they would write hundreds of things on the list that they wanted to do. And then we go through the same experience, and they find out most often than not that things that they want to do usually prioritize down, and other people become the priority for them. It's not necessarily the bad thing, but if they really wanted to be happy and have meaningful experience and have joy in their life, they need to move some of these things to the top of the list. But for many of those people, that would be on the bottom of the list, and that was the same for me. So it was like very, very opening experience.
So, how can someone find their purpose when maybe they get to this feeling, they get to the top, and they're like, okay, I'm completely unfulfilled in what I'm doing. Where do they go next?
Right. A lot of the time, and this is described in the concept of the borrowed success, which is one of the problem that I guess causing problem people losing the purpose in life. Um, is we usually want to be successful by the playbook written by other people. So, for example, it was considered success for me back in the days in Ukraine that if you buy your apartment, you are successful. And I did, and it didn't feel anything. I was like, okay, I don't think I'm very successful, but just buying the apartment. But for a lot of the people in Ukraine, it would be considered a success. You would be praised for that, and I was praised for that too. Um, that's borrowed success. You borrow success of other people's playbook. So, for example, there was someone first at something. Someone was first to climb the Mount Everest, and everyone else after that is borrow the success. I know it sounds a little bit dramatic and not necessarily need to be understood exactly like that, but we strive very little to be first at something in the world. So a lot of the people achieving that by becoming first, they create a playbook for others, and other people follows. So if you feel like you are fulfilled already and you're looking for the next thing, you want to try to do that. Try to become first in the world at something and create that playbook for other people so that other people can repeat after you. And that would be my recommendation. Other thing is usually I would recommend is to try to help other people in general. If you figure it out for yourself, why don't you try to help your community, your family, your friends? Maybe start telling your story, and people are gonna get inspired by that. And those things usually helps, and then you create new connections, you build new relationships, and the life will evolve from that point. Hard to predict what's going to happen, but the life definitely will evolve.
Yeah, you're kind of blazing your own trail instead of following everybody else.
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Trying to be first at something in the world is easier said than done. Usually that's achieved by accident, not by force, but yeah, it's easier said than done.
In your book, you talk about borrowed success. What is that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say is you need to use other people's playbook to achieve your own goals. But positioning other people's success stories are, let's say, again, achieving the career growth and making that your success life story might be dangerous because, again, you might not feel anything about it. You might achieve it and then you'd be like numb to the outcome of that, and you would be chasing something else hoping that you're going to feel something. And what's really happening is you're using other people's playbook for success to try to write your own story with that. Well, you need to be actually doing the opposite. You need to be using other people's success to write a very unique story of your own and help create new playbooks for success so that other people can follow and progress. So then we as a society can achieve better and greater things in life. So that's the idea.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share that. Do you have a story about borrowed success you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. For me, it was pretty much just standard life experience. I try to be best at what I do at work. I achieved that. I've been always told you have to chase that next promotion. You have to become the next big boss, and things gonna get better. And I follow that playbook. Also, I try to follow playbook of people making it in real estate. So people say, hey, just buy real estate, multiply the number of properties you own and you're going to achieve success. About my first property, the second property, third property, haven't felt anything. It was just following someone else playbook, but I was using it for the wrong reasons, and like chasing the career and trying to make it in real estate, for example, was the wrong thing for me in the first place, and I shouldn't have done it probably in the first place. But yeah, that was the success I tried to pull of other people, because everyone say, hey, being in real estate and scaling with real estate is awesome. And I did a few other things like that. Trying to chase the next hot thing while everyone is recommending you have to do it. So that's the idea.
Well, I think your book also, in some ways, helps people look at perhaps following their heart and their passions as opposed to everybody else's recommendations, the hottest tip. What's the insider secret? Any of those?
Following the passion may be tricky. Um, it can be really helpful. I don't think I ever tried to follow my passion. I tried to be logical about that. And again, my story is pretty much just recovery from that. So I don't think I ever followed the passion. I can recommend to follow the passion because it kind of feels very inspirational. And that's the idea of the book. It has to be a mix of inspirational, but also have some element of guidance in it and structure. So the book is really a structured approach to finding your purpose. It's not a lot of the pep talks to just encourage you to follow the passion. It's actually telling you what it is that you need to do almost step by step. And then it increases the chances of you of winning and achieving what you want to achieve. But a lot of the people is just discovering the answers, what it is that they want to do. So the passion can probably distract you from discovering what it is that you want to do, because it's really cool feeling, right? It feels great, I guess, following the passion and doing what feels right. But it is not necessarily what you want to do. It can be very emotional. So I would be maybe counterintuitively recommending you taking a little bit more pragmatic look, because there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of pressure from society to tell you exactly what to do. So I would encourage to be a bit more structural and systemic about approaching this question. That's why the book exists in the first place, to help you figure it out without any noise. But hey, if you want to follow your passion, it feels great, you make money with it. Who am I to tell you and blame you for that?
I find it interesting because sometimes a passion doesn't necessarily mean that that's what will bring in an income. So you have to look at it, is the income fueling the passion? Like you're doing a regular job, so it pays for the passion you have. It's I think it's an interesting place to look.
Yeah, I think it's fine. A lot of people associate the purpose in life with reaching a certain amount of wealth, which is also could be a thing. Your purpose in life could become the best dad in the world. Your purpose can become solving the world hunger, whatever that is. It doesn't has to be a grandiose idea, as long as that you believe in it and you can execute on that idea. So usually the chase for a purpose in life is X number of missions that you accomplished. So you achieve something, and then you take the result of that to achieve something else, and then you take the result of that to achieve something else, and you slowly moving from one direction to another. Hopefully, slowly getting to the final outcome. The trick with purpose in life is, and many people talk about it, and some very, very well-known people talk about it, is that you have to make it hard enough so it almost feels like impossible to achieve. And of course, making money, or is it that you're going to achieve it through the passion or dedication or discipline? Those are the tools for execution on your idea. And then ideally, it's big enough so it almost feels impossible. So you continue to grow. You have to grow in order to achieve it and move to the next step. So that would be my recommendation. Try to make it super big so it almost feels impossible, and people might even call you crazy for that.
So in your book, you talk about social debt. What is that?
That's my favorite part there. Social debt is a collection of social experiences, negative experiences that accumulate almost like your credit card debt when you don't pay it. It's all the micro interactions in social environment they can accumulate in a negative way. and then will cause the trouble along the way. The easiest example I give, and it's, for example, in my culture, if you've been invited to someone else's birthday, for example, and you show up without a gift, you will feel guilty because for some reason you couldn't. You wanted to buy a gift, but you couldn't. So you show up to the birthday party without a gift. You will have that feeling of guilt that will stick with you and will find its way to compensate. You don't know how it's going to be compensated, but you will find a way to overcompensate for that. And imagine that on daily basis happens every single time. Someone paid for your drink, someone paid for your meal. You might feel guilty. So any social negative experience might cause that feeling of compensation that will start to accumulate. And rules are continuously changing. There's thousands of different social rules you have to follow. Each and every rule that you break might cause you a negative experience, and it will continue to accumulate over time. And then you will find a way to compensate it, maybe in a negative way as well, on your subconscious level. It's very, very interesting experience. For me, it was always feeling of guilt for not doing something or doing something and then finding the way to compensate it.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share that. I found that to be such a very impactful piece. So many people really seems like they're struggling to define their life purpose despite having access to more information than ever. What would you suggest to those folks?
I think the very first step is awareness. If you find yourself in the situation that you feel something is wrong, that would be great, because awareness is probably the first right signal for you that you're aware that this is the problem. And you either don't feel anything in life, or you feel that you are stuck, or you feel like you're not moving, or you feel like you can't even figure out what are the first step. So awareness is a big deal. And then especially self-awareness, the ability to look at yourself and your own behavior and why you're making certain decisions and analyze it. I call it self-discovery. I'm sure there's an official term for that too. Ability to have that awareness and do self-discovery work and investigate what's causing that and look a little bit more critically at yourself, your behavior, your surrounding would be awesome. And that's usually your first start. And then you get help. You get either professional help, you get to read one of these books, including my book, and you can get started with your journey. It's always going to be a journey. It's not an immediate change. It's not, solution that will fix all your problems. It will be a trigger, and it will be an interesting journey. As long as you want to go on it, and then don't expect that things can happen overnight. You will get where you want to be. So start with awareness, self-discovery, and be ready to go on the journey.
So, what role does fear play in keeping people from pursuing a meaningful life?
Oof, that's a tough one. My take on fear is that it's your internal subconscious giving you a signal. It's actually a really good signal, and it's one of the chapters on the shadow work that tell you that you shouldn't be concerned or really afraid of both positive and negative emotions. If you feel anger, that's fine. If you feel fear, it's also fine. It's all signal of your subconscious level to your conscious level to tell you something. So it plays a big role, and there's need to be a question that you need to be asking, and usually fear is the signal that you need to be brave about something. So that's interpretation of the fear. Fear is fine. It's okay to be afraid. It's actually great that you're afraid of something, that you can become braver and you can actually solve that problem. So that's your signal to be brave. And that's how you should interpret and use it in the pursuit of your meaningful life.
So, if a goal or a new course doesn't scare us a little bit, perhaps it's not one we should be taking.
No, I would actually say if you fear something, that's probably the signal to actually do it. You probably should, despite the fear, still do that step one and see what happens. Usually, people are surprised that they're afraid for a very long time, and I was like that. I was afraid for a very long time. I probably hesitated for 2 years, I was afraid of embarrassment and all the strange feeling I was going through of starting my own business. For 2 years, I was convincing myself. I was afraid, what's going to happen? What if this? What if that? I didn't know what to do until I started, and it just happened. I just moving from there. So step one, it's number one important thing. So don't be like me. Don't waste 2 years being in fear and hesitation. Just do it. Just go do step one. That's the time to be brave.
Well, that's why we have the book today, is because you've done all that work.
Yes, indeed. I hope it will help at least some people that will be encouraged to pick it up and read.
For those that are feeling perhaps stuck or unsure, where should they start?
I would say my best advice is to do exactly the exercise I was talking about, is start by writing down every day 10 to 20 things that you want to do and spend 1 month doing that exercise. Just don't think about it, how you're going to use it, what it means, what are those thoughts, are they strange, are they bizarre, what people think about it. Just every day document 10 to 20 things that you want to do. Could be get a new phone, get an apartment, get a new job, get more money, travel around, make a tattoo and become a tattoo master, whatever that is. Just document it for 1 month and then start looking through that list and see if you find any patterns. In the book, there's actually a little bit of a guidance how to do that properly. So by doing this exercise, you will find where your mind is, where the majority of your thoughts is going to. And most of the time, there is a pattern. There's usually like 5, maybe 7 different categories of thoughts that people, carry with them, and they sit there in the head, and until they put it on the paper, they bother them continuously. So doing that exercise, if you're not sure, that's the best place to start. Just start documenting all the things that you want to do, and you will be surprised that there's a lot of weird stuff coming out, especially of my 1,500 things that I wrote. But there are some of them are golden, and I haven't even imagined that I can generate ideas like that in my life. So it can be both helpful to figure out what you want to do and where you will start, and also generate ideas that you haven't even imagined that you have in your head.
Well, your book was such a profound read, Artem. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thanks, Marianne. Thanks for having me, giving me a chance to tell a little bit about myself and my story. That was very good.
Well, thank you, Artem. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, Unrefined. Find Your Purpose. Make sure to visit his website at artiefinch.com for more information on his work and to be part of his community. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.